What were you the head of? Which division?
The West African Division.
Okay.
Half of the countries were English speaking, half of them were French speaking. I had to head missions to Francophone countries, and I would say my grasp of French was elementary. And yeah, that really was very difficult trying to do, and I was dependent on people on my team who essentially would be doing the in the interpretation for me. But okay, if they wanted me to be in charge of a bilingual division, I should have been sent to France for a minimum of 3 months and probably 6 months. Just the way Elizabeth went to France and became pretty fluent in French. I was trying to do a job running a division and trying to learn a bit of French during a small segment of every day. Well, I'm just trying to. One should not criticize the IMF as an organization for that. I would say the problem that they had in the African department was African department alone. And I found dealing with the countries to be interesting and stimulating. Even, Guinea-Conakry, French-speaking country. And Guinea was given the opportunity of becoming independent probably the late 50s or early 60s. When all of the sub-Saharan African French colonies in Africa were given the opportunity, but it was only semi-independence. Okay, you could follow the path of independence, but the French said bye-bye to you. If you were prepared to play ball with them, they kept, well, running at a kind of somewhat in a looser fashion than they did during the colonial days. But okay, why I bring that up is Guinea-Conakry was the only country who said, no, we don't want it, we want full independence.
What, Guinea-Conakry is not the name of the country now, which...
Well, it is Guinea.
Okay.
You have a number, you have...
Yeah, there's like
you have
Equatorial
Portuguese
Guinea.
you have Guinea-Bissau, and then you have the larger one, it used to be French Guinea, and Conakry is the capital.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And but they did not want to have the close relationship with the French. And de Gaulle was the French president, and said, okay. The French, they were lousy. Everything they could take away, they took away typewriters, they took bulbs out of the lights, they broke the toilets. It was vindictive. And Guinea, willy-nilly, was pitched into the hands of the Soviet. Okay, again, it didn't work well. The economic system before independence, Guinea had very significant exports of coffee. When they were getting paid in the Guinea currency, and the Guinea currency was just depreciating it at an exponential rate. When I went there, I think their coffee exports were only about 1/100th of what they had been before independence. Of course, they went out over the border, and in Conakry, you go down the main street. There were buildings which had been stores in the French times. They were closed. There wasn't a store open. People who worked for the government, they would take time off from work and they would go up to some place, and rations were handed out to them. So if you worked with government, you didn't buy what you needed, rice and things that you needed to live. The government provided it for you. It was a shamble of a system. But actually, I particularly liked this. The man who was director of research in the central bank, he had been educated in Russia. But he was open-minded and he was very intelligent, and we became quite good friends. And subsequently, he became governor, and going to Guinea, it was different. Some of it was fun, and the hotels. Well, I think there was one hotel in Conakry, which was it had been the hotel during the colonial times, and it was run into the ground. We were staying in a bungalow, and Stokely Carmichael and Miriam Makeba and their daughter were living next door. But it wasn't bad. The only problem was it was rat infested. You'd be sitting down and rats were running across the floor. And the food for the house came from the president's kitchen. And I remember we had a fish souffle. It came for dinner. We had soup. The following morning we had it for breakfast. At lunchtime we had it. I think for 3 days we had nothing, but it was fabulous. But if you run the same thing for 3 days,